Good afternoon. How are you today? Well, yesterday I had my first day actually in court as opposed to remotely. And there's a big difference. And the court allowed for certain protections on my request. The judge was very kind that way. And so they wore masks and things like that. So it was very kind. And it went very well. The prosecutor and I had reached an agreement, and the judge agreed to what we'd agreed to. So it was a pleasant court appearance. Today, I'm working on my other cases and finding pills for Holly as the clock goes off. The nation is in a very difficult place. The question I was asked last night at a discussion about what should Democrats do and what kind of messaging they should have. And we've reached a point where two things are probably true. One is that there isn't any heart on the Hill to actually introduce legislation that would deal with the overthrow of our government, the attempt to do so. And there's also not any time if we could figure out a way to get the courage to pass it in the Senate. So where are we? We're in a position where our language and our message probably is preeminent. And that means, in my opinion, when Zoe Lofgren says we can't refer for a prosecution, I think she's wrong. And Congressman Raskin seems to be elsewhere on that point. That is to say that he thinks we should refer to the Department of Justice charges. I go a little bit further than that. I think what the committee should do is that the committee should seek a resolution of the House and the Senate addressed to the President of the United States that he appoint a special prosecutor separate and apart from the Department of Justice or any oversight by the Attorney General, given not only the Attorney General's failure to do anything for whatever it is, 15 months, but also because he's taken some very peculiar steps that don't suggest themselves, in my mind, in a normal prosecution, which would have been to talk to a lot of people a long time ago already, including Meadows, for example, who's been sitting up there. The next thing I think on the hit parade would be not legislation about how you deal with electors. It would be legislation proposing how we remove from Congress, that is from the House and the Senate, those members who violated Article 14, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution that provides for removing and banning from office persons who took an oath to support the Constitution and then ignored it. There are a couple of things going on that are kind of interesting. Pence, as you may know, rallied for Kemp, and that is in defiance of Trump, if you will. So the field may be starting to thicken with potential persons who think they should be the new Trump or the better Trump or the non-Trump in a race against presumably Biden or some other Democrat. I presume it'll be Biden. The Alito, what he did is, I think he revived the Democratic Party because what he did was so outrageous, that is to ignore the law. You know, you could say as a policy matter, maybe there would be a line to honestly reach the decision that there's a problem with abortions and to narrow it in some way or other. But that's not what happened. What happened was Alito and 4 other judges, in the draft opinion anyhow, are all saying, it doesn't matter. What the law says doesn't matter. And that's the critical point. A judge who said that he'll follow the sentiment of earlier decisions, that is, be bound by precedent, and who said that the decision was settled law and now to do what they do. I think that should be part of the campaign. And so it shouldn't be any surprise that there are 380 pro-choice rallies across the nation this weekend. So that's a very strong statement. Now, Oklahoma, where maybe the brightest people don't exist in the leadership and the government, they have proposed the idea that the moment an ovum is fecundated, this is conception occurs, that from that moment on, any effort to stop it, for example, to take an after morning pill, I suppose, or to have an IUD, or any of the various ways that one might protect oneself about an unwanted pregnancy, which would have been permitted and is still permitted under the law, would no longer be in Oklahoma permitted under the law. And they also set up, following Texas' example, a kind of bounty hunting. That is, that if you believe this person is providing abortion to a person who has had a conception, that is, a fecundated ovum, zygote on the way, at a time when you can't even know that you have these things, that they could prosecute that person and they could win funds. This is a crazy time in America, but the campaign is starting too late for my liking, with too few accomplishments legislatively and otherwise. But you have to work with what you got, and that work means campaigning. We have to do what we did to crawl over glass in the presidential. We're going to have to do something like that in the midterms, although we don't yet see the energy to do that, except on the question of abortion. So give what you can, time, funds, talk to your friends, talk it up, and say with candor what our Democratic leaders are not saying. Also, again, thank you, folk, for continuing to ask how Holly is doing. She's doing well. We seem to be moving forward, and it's a long path, and you're never completely safe from infection or rejection. But she's gaining strength, and she's showing more mobility, and she continues to take her meds, so she's doing okay. Well, good talking to you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.